Well, I'm on the farm today, and we're going to put down some fertilizer. It's cold. The sun's finally come out. The skies are clear. Uh, but we're going to put some fertilizer down on the main part of the farm here. And so we're putting down potash and phosphorus. I guess it's DAP, diammonium phosphate, 1846-0 for that, and 0060 for the potash. And what I'm trying to do here is to get it on the ground so it can get in the ground in plenty of time, hopefully for the perennial grasses to get a head start as we go into the spring. And you know, a healthy stand of grass is really the best herbicide there is. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you everything we have to do to put down fertilizer. And it ain't pretty. Some of it's pretty, some of it ain't pretty, but we got a crippled up Massey Ferguson 50 with a loader, and we're going to have to put, because it's cold, we got to put the block heater on a generator and pump up a couple of tires. Hopefully we'll have some of these tractors in better shape, you know, as time rolls on. But right now I'm kind of working with what I got. And so I'm going to just try to show you the whole thing. It might be a long video. It might be a short video if I can't get a tractor to start. But let's get going. So this is the tractor I'm going to spread the fertilizer with. This is the John Deere 5055D. It is the backbone of this farm. And over here is the fertilizer spreader. This is a Kubota VS600, but with the hopper on it, they call it a VS1000. It can hold a ton of fertilizer, but right now the only thing I put in it is I put in a half ton, 1,000 pounds of fertilizer. There's two reasons why. One of them is when I go to 2,000 pound bags, or two 1,000 pound bags, there's a reinforcement kit I've got to put on here. I got it, I haven't put it on yet. The second thing is, I like bag fertilizer. I can only lift about 1,700 pounds with my loader tractor, which is my Massey Ferguson 50. And so I'm limited to really 1,000 pound bags of fertilizer. And if I ever get a tractor with a loader where I can put 2,000 pound bags, that would be awesome. And then, as I mentioned in another video, I've got some bag fertilizer here. I 50 pound bag fertilizer. I prefer the 1,000 pound bags. Everything's just easier on my back with these things. But you do have to have a tractor with a loader, and one that'll run and start, and the tires aren't flat. So speaking of tractors that need to run and start and tires aren't flat, this old Massey Ferguson 50, it's a 1962 year model, Perkins 3-cylinder diesel, and I believe it's going to get new tires maybe all the way around this year. And you can see, especially on this side, these things are delaminating, and the valve stems are so bad, I can't even get air in the tires on either side. So it's a priority to get the tires replaced here, maybe in the next couple of months, or I may sell it, because tires and some of these rims, I know this one is in really bad shape. Sometimes you can weld those things up. When I pull the tire off, I'll try it if I do that. But I am contemplating selling it, just because the money you put into it, you know, you can take that with the sale price and maybe get something a little bit better. But nonetheless, it's actually a pretty decent tractor for running equipment around here. And these 4x4 bales. This loader handles those pretty nicely. So I don't know, I'll probably put tires on it. But today they got a hold, which I think they will. I got a front tire flat here. I got to pump up. I got to put the block heater there's the plug for it right down there. I got to put that on a generator and let it soak for a couple hours. And I'm going to check my antifreeze level just to make sure everything's full before I enable the block heater. And then I'll use this loader to lift the bags up into my spreader. The worst case scenario is I can't get this thing started, and I won't be able to put down the 1,000-pound bags. But by hook or crook, I'll get that trailer and get these bags down. So what I got here is a Pioneer generator, and I wanted a small generator on this farm and I could lug around. I've got a Honda 2,000 watt generator that's just about double the weight of this thing, and it's a little onerous to carry around. It's portable, but it's a heavy portable generator. This one weighs 29 pounds dry. It's got 1,300 running watts, 1,700 starting watts. It is ideal for a block heater, for a sump pump that I might pump out of that tank over there. And then I've got some lightweight, light duty, I should say, drills and circular saws that I can use this on. And then I can, in fact, I'll probably charge my battery starter, because the battery's dead on this thing, of course. Probably charge my my jump starter on this, or just make sure it's topped off while it's doing the block heater. All right, I topped off my radiator with some antifreeze. It didn't need much. And then I leave the cap cracked while I got the block heater on. Just a little side note here. I use viscosity fluids wherever I can. The only place I don't use them now is my John Deere. And I want to just continue to run John Deere oils, antifreeze, and hydraulic fluid in my John Deere. And that's just kind of, I don't know, I probably don't need to do that, but I want to support my local John Deere dealer on that one, and I just sleep pretty good at night knowing I got John Deere fluids in a John Deere tractor. Everything else is getting viscosity these days: oil, hydraulic fluids, and antifreeze. And the guy that works on my Big Massey Ferguson, and if I ever have him work on the International 886. He's an independent guy, and so I try to buy my oils from him when I can. And that being said, that would be with the exception of John Deere fluids. This is an inverter generator, so it'll vary speed, and it's not bad. I didn't pay very much for it. I might have a video on it. I'll let that run a little bit, and then I'll plug that cord into it, and I'll get started on heating that block. So while it's running that block heater, I want to make sure my battery charger's topped off. I think it is, but just because I want to, I'm going to plug this thing into the generator too. I can plug this end into here, but I want to put it in this duplex outlet. That's a me thing. Okay. It's almost fully charged, but I want to make sure that it's topped off. So while this thing's running, might as well put a charge on that. All right, today is day 2. Yesterday, we came to a screeching halt. What can go wrong will go wrong occurred on this farm, which is a frequent thing up here. And then I had an off-farm commitment. Today, I think we're in the clear, except for one thing, and that is the clouds are moving in. They're calling for rain. But the nice thing about having your own fertilizer spreader is you can put down fertilizer anytime you want, assuming the tractor starts and there's no flat tires. So you can time it in advance of the rain, and we're hoping that'll hit here today. So while the Massey 50 is getting preheated, I want to pull this thing out, and to do that, I need to put this trailer ball on this hitch right here. One-handed. There we go. All right, I'll come back. Got the trailer ball on. The next thing here now is to see if this tractor will start. I get it out here and back it up to that trailer and snatch that thing outside the barn. Neutral. Starts, runs, no flat tires. Oh yeah. All right, I got the fertilizer pulled out that's on this trailer. I'm gonna take it off the tractor and I'll be positioned for when I get the spreader on the tractor. And what I want to do is put this fertilizer down first to get it out of the way, and then leave this trailer out of the barn, and then I can back up to the bag fertilizer. And if it starts raining, I can even go out between rains, especially with the bag fertilizer, because I won't need a loader tractor with that. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. All right, all right. I got the John Deere backed in here to the fertilizer spreader. I don't have it hooked up. I've got the front half of it greased, and when I get it on the 3-point hitch, I'll lift it up, and that wig-wag pendulum mechanism, I can grease that from the back. It's a pretty simple spreader to grease. It really is. And it's a clever machine. It's a Vicon, but Kubota bought Vicon some time back. But you know, the manual is full of nice tips, like before you wash it down, fill up all your grease zerks so water doesn't get into them. You know, a lot of people don't think of that. A lot of people do, but in any event, I got it ready to go. The test now. The next thing is to get the Massey 50 started, and if I get it started, I'll finish hooking this thing up, put the grease to it, lift the bags over, and I'll put a bag in, put another bag in. Now, one thing on this spreader while I'm standing here is There's a gate down there that opens and closes with this lever. Maybe you can see that or not. Anyway, and there's a big agitator down there. And this hopper's fiberglass and plastic, some kind of blend. And there's stainless steel all over this spreader. It does not rust like other spreaders. We had a Lely spreader here, and it just completely rusted out. But of course it was 50 years old. I bought this thing new with the hopper. It'll hold 1 ton of fertilizer. As I mentioned, I think earlier, there's a kit I got to put on here that kind of braces it up for that. But my loader will only lift like 1,700 pounds. And I like to spread fertilizer with this John Deere, and I'm not sure right now I want to put a ton of fertilizer in on the back of this John Deere. If I transition to spreading fertilizer with my Big Massey or my International 886, which was kind of the plan from the get-go, I'll put that kit on, and we'll dump 2 bags in it to give us a ton of fertilizer to go out. If I had a loader tractor that would hold a ton, that would lift a ton, I'd buy ton bags all day long, and that might be in the works one of these days. But right now, I'm running what I got, trying to pencil out profit here. And there's wants and there's profit. So we kind of limp along in some ways to maximize our profit. Some people think it's just stupid, having a tractor over there, that Massey 50 with rubber peeling off the back wheels. It just drive them crazy. It doesn't make me exactly happy, but that's going to get, those tires are going to get fixed probably this spring. And but for right now, things are what they are. So we just got a mixture of nice equipment, newer equipment, and then older equipment. And these two were some of the newer pieces. 2014 John Deere 5055D. And I can't remember when I bought this thing. I probably bought it in 2019, 2020, something like that. It's a really good spreader. It's very accurate. It throws a 40-foot width, and you get a little bit of fertilizer on the tractor, but it's just like fertilizer that ricochets off of this snout down here, if you can see that. But it's not bad. The old Lely spinner spreader, it would cover the back end up with fertilizer, and that was really bad. And we've got rust on the back side of this tractor and on some of the fenders. I need to put some paint on them, scrape them and put some paint. That's kind of hard to see, but anyway, so the next thing is, let's see if I can get the Massey 50 started. And one thing about the Massey 50 is we'll be running airplane mode today. And what that means is airplanes typically crash on takeoff and landing. Tractors tend to not start when you're starting and stopping and starting. Again, the dead battery on that tractor, the generator is not charging. I'm going to be putting an alternator on it, I think. But back to this spreader for a second. I get to rambling, but Kubota has a Slickery app on their website that you can download, and then you can just look at it straight up on the Kubota website. And then when I bought the fertilizer spreader, it had a manual with kind of a slide rule that you could do the same calculations. But basically, what you do is you tell it how wide you're going to spread, and the maximum spread on this thing is 40 feet, and then you're going to overlap like 10 feet. So you're really making a 30-foot spread and overlapping on the outer 5-foot edges, I guess is what I'm trying to say. In order, as it tapers off, you're going to overlap just a little bit. And I might be mixing my words up here a little bit, but the 40-foot spread, and then so if you want a narrower spread, you can tell it. And then you tell it the ground speed, And so I know what ground speed I'm going. The owner's manual for this John Deere tells you what the ground speed is based on the tire size you have on the back. And at full throttle RPMs, which is like 2,400 RPMs. Well, PTO is 2,200 RPMs. So we have to take a ratio of that 2,200 divided by 2,400, and that put that against the ground speed listed, and that tells us what the ground speed is at 540 PTO RPMs, and you know, for this tractor. You put that ground speed in, and of course you're telling it you're operating on 540 PTO, and then it'll tell you, and then you get, I hear this barn crackling. I hope it's not raindrops. The rain's supposed to be about 4 hours away, but we are talking about haying equipment and the support of haying, and then we got the weather guesser factor mixed in. But in any event, you can go through and you can pick the type of fertilizer that you want. Urea 4600, DAP 18460, or potash 0060. And based on that fertilizer profile, it'll tell you, and then you tell it how many tons per acre that you want to put down. And that's not actual tons of fertilizer, that's the whole bit. So if you get 100 pounds of potash and you want to put down 60 actual pounds of potash per acre, well, your 100 pounds times 0.6 is 60. So that's what you're getting down, but you want to put out 100 pounds in order to get that 60. So you put that, let's just say that 100 pounds in, and it spits out a value, and down here on this little worm gear looking thing, there's values from 0 to, like, I don't know, 43, and this is the stop. There we go. This is the stop right here for these values. And so you crank this thing down to the one that you want, and that limits how far this can open the bottom of the spreader. And it works pretty good. I usually, you know, if it recommends 35, I might put it on 32. It's better to come up just a little bit short on fertilizer and finish your fields and then kind of go back. There's always an area that you want to maybe put just a little dab of extra fertilizer just to empty the bottom of the hopper. So I have those values, calculated that stuff yesterday, and so for potash and the DAP, diammonium phosphate, which is the phosphorus, 18460. So I've got all that figured out, and so let me break off here and see if I can get that Massey Ferguson started, and if I can, then we might be in business. Now what I'll do here is I'll put this thing on fast idle, and then I'll shut the gas off. Instead of shutting the switch off, I'll shut the gas off and let it run dry to help protect the carburetor from gumming up. So let me set this thing out of the way and see if I can get that tractor started, and I'll come right back. So the next challenge is putting some air in that tire. I thought I'd put some air in this tire, but when I took that cap off, the stem has just crumbled, and this will get fixed this spring. This will get replaced this spring, and so let me put some air in that tire, and if I can do that, then hopefully we can load some fertilizer. I'm almost down on the rim, but I think I'll be all right for today. Also put a little more diesel in there because this thing will not get turned off until I've got both bags of fertilizer in the spreader. So the nice thing about this lithium ion starter is it's just really light. I can get 2 or 3 starts off of it before it kind of lays down. And that little battery inflator is really light. I used to, you know, have a air tank that I would carry around, and it was just really heavy. And then of course the generator that I used is light. So, you know, I'm selling hay off my wagons instead of stacking it. So here in my retirement, you can kind of see a theme of a little less labor on the back, including some of my tools. And of course the bag fertilizer falls in that, the 1,000-pound bag fertilizer falls in that too. And I'd have bought all bag fertilizer, but I got a better deal on the 50-pound bag fertilizer. But you know, here in my senior citizenship, that's not my favorite thing. But it's helpful when I go to the doctor and I tell them that I lifted several tons of fertilizer by myself, and they seem to be impressed. I'm usually sore from it all. You look at this tire and I can see the sidewall is still bowed out like it's flat, and you wonder, do I have a leak around the rim? Because this inflator cannot overcome, you know, a fast leak, faster than what it can pump air in. But when I look down here, I see the tires pulling away from the ground, so I know that it's getting air. And the nice thing about this inflator is I can set the PSI that I want it to stop, walk away from it, and it'll fill it up and it'll turn itself off. So, you know, I can put this thing away and maybe do a couple other things while I'm waiting on that thing to pump up. And then I'll do the other side on the front tire, make sure it's got plenty of air in it, because there's going to be a lot of weight on those tires when I lift those bags of fertilizer. So I got that lift arm on, but I need a pin to put in it. But I got to do something about this box. I got to clear this box out, and then I've got some pins in there, but moreover, I need this for something else. So right here is my John Deere 348 square baler. It's also the most expensive bench or shelf I got on the farm. While I clear that toolbox out, that stuff will sit right there. Works out fine. So this box has got water in it. I don't know if you can see that. It's not enough for a fish, maybe a goldfish. And but just some advice to my brethren farmers: don't wait like 10 years to clean out your toolbox. Holy smoke. So, being hotshot engineer, assuming I don't electrocute myself, I thought I could dip all this out with some paper towels, but I thought what I really need to do is just drill a hole in each corner. So no matter which way this thing's sitting, if water blows in, and sometimes this lid blows open because the latch has been going a long time. And I'm going to try to climb up here, maybe without breaking my head, and drill a hole in the corner of this box. There. I don't know if you can see that or not. There. I don't know if you can see it or not. Maybe I can show it coming through. There. And there. So, the box is draining. That's what it should have been from the start, but apparently whoever designed this box was not a hotshot engineer like me. All right, All right, I got this lift arm on, but to make that work, I had to loosen that stabilizer chain set up right there with a wrench. I don't know who dreamed this up, but they were not a hotshot engineer. And whatever happened to the good old days, like with a Massey Ferguson, you had a rigid bar with 2 holes in the end. You put one up there and one down here, and you were done. This, you got to crawl up in here with a crescent wrench, break that nut loose. Oh yeah. But I do get my cardio, get up and get down. I don't have to do squats and sit-ups and things like that. Hooking up farm machinery takes care of that for me. So the next challenge or opportunity on this spreader is getting this top link shortened up, and it fits right down in here. So let me do that and I'll come back. All right, let's see here. So I got the all 3 points hooked up, the 2 lower ends, and the top link it's kind of tight in here with these bigger tires. And but I always get it. It just takes a little bit, and the way I got it set on this pallet, it's slick, so I can slide this thing around on the pallet. But I got an idea for a cart to set this thing on, so I can like literally roll it out in the doorway and hook it up. But pro tip for you farmers or wannabe farmers or backyard mechanics: if you don't have rags to wipe your hands off with, or paper towels, or in my case, if you just wear your rags, here's a little tip. If you wipe your hands on the front of your pants, then when you get in the car, you won't get grease on top of the seat. The next challenge is to see if I can get this thing out of the barn without smashing into the side of that baler. I'll come back. Alright, so I got this thing set for potash. The program calls for 39. I've got it on 36. Like I said earlier, I like to go a little conservative. And what happens, that sets how far the bottom opens up. So also, three grease zerks on the back side. One here, let's see, one on this side, just like it, maybe you can see right there, and one on the bottom. And you don't overdo it on the grease zerks. And this spreader just goes back and forth like that. And that's how it throws the fertilizer out. So the last thing I got to do with this spreader before I start putting fertilizer down is I got to tighten up those stabilizers right here and on that side. There's a lot of weight in here, and you don't want it to be slinging from side to side, but you also don't want it to be absolute tight. You want to just have just an itsy tiny bit of play in it. So let me do that, and then I'll come back. These things are a real pain to tighten up. And so what I'll do, I get it tight on one side, and I'm trying to make that drive shaft come straight out so that the spreader is centered. All right, so that's pretty good right there. And like I say, you don't want this thing bouncing around because you hit bumps out there and groundhog holes, and you could just do a lot of damage. And so now that I got the turnbuckle set, I'll come in here, tighten these nuts down to lock it down. But these will come loose, so you got to check them when you come back to fill up. I just felt the drop of rain. The clouds are definitely moving in. I purposely parked on a slope like this. I say slope. The tractor's front end comes up just a touch, and there's kind of a a dip right there to get this spreader as low to the ground as I can. So the loader height is somewhat compromised by this thing right here, but I don't like what I'm seeing here, but I'm gonna get out there anyway. All right, I cleaned out this toolbox because I need to make room for and you've seen any of my videos before. This is what I call the TPS guidance system, and I hang a roll of paper on the throttle lever. That's factory standard from John Deere to hold a roll of toilet paper. And then what I do is, as I'm riding along, I just break off a piece and then drop it down on the ground, and it gives me a pretty good idea where I've been and where I need to make the next pass. So hopefully this back tire over here won't fall off the rim. I get this fertilizer loaded. Help is on the way for this tractor. It's either on the way or I'm going to be sending it down the road. Put my money in something else, but it already gets the job done. But tires, and I need new rims. It gets kind of pricey. And, let me get this thing situated and I'll come back. So what I want is, I want these straps right here as close to that loop as possible to give me the maximum lift I can get. So basically I got it hooked. I got it hooked like that and slacking the chain down here. And when I pick this thing up, it's going to look like an upside down weather balloon, because it's a 2,000 pound bag, but I've only got 1,000 pounds. Anything can happen here. Blown hose, tire blows, and we're sunk. But let me get this thing over the target and I'll come back. Probably should have pulled up to the side, but this is okay. Maybe the next round. I just don't want to be jumping back and forth. This should fill up to the edge of the orange. So let me get that thing loose and I'll come back. Now, next thing I got to do is just kind of move it around, pick it up a little bit. That's what keeps it in the spread. About as high as I want to go. Do like that. Got some corn in here. Might have to buy a combine. Let me come back and we'll spread some fertilizer. Okay, so there's the empty bag. And this does have some benefits, even though I'm not putting a ton of fertilizer in here, because you can see this would have come over the side of the spreader. And but as I bounce around on the field, it'll kind of level out. There's something. I didn't see big chunks coming out, which I was a little concerned about. So let me back this tractor up and we'll spread this fertilizer. Alright, I made a pass across the field without spreading anything, just to get a feel for my ground speed relative to the bumpiness of the field. And I can never remember from one year to the next, and I probably should write that down somewhere. But anyway, instead of going third gear, I'm going to go fourth gear, and that does two things for me. One of them is it gets me on and off the field faster, and that's fourth gear, low range. And I'll be driving about 7.5 miles an hour. Third gear is 5.25 miles an hour. And then because I'm going faster, I have to open the gate up more in the bottom of the spreader, because obviously the quicker I go on the same setting as third gear, I'd be thinning down the amount of fertilizer. So, but going faster gets me on and off the field quicker, and but also having those gates open is if there's a plunk or a rock or something that gets. I've had not this fertilizer, but I had another fertilizer spreader that got clogged up, and you talk about a big mess when you got a fertilizer spreader that's full of fertilizer and it won't dump any to spread. That's a problem. But anyway, I'm going to pull up here to the end of the field, and I'm going to start spreading fertilizer. I'll come back. This lever right here opens and closes the gate. You can put a hydraulic cylinder on that to accomplish the same thing if you have on a cab tractor. But really, when you kill the PTO, it kind of puts a kibosh on the fertilizer flow. But I'm going to put the PTO in just to make sure that nothing is out of whack. All right, here we go. PTO on, low range, fourth gear, 540 RPMs, gates open. It's hard to do this, steer and take video and drop toilet paper. Done this enough where I have a pretty good feel about how far to be off. I don't know if you see the toilet paper out there. How far to be over this way. And I get kind of zigzaggy, and it ain't perfect. This ain't perfect, but. I can see some fertilizer on that road, the edge of it. I can see some of that fertilizer, and from that I can kind of tell how my overlap is. I can also put the heat shield from where I'm sitting on the toilet paper over there and kind of see. That kind of gives me a good visual distance for coming over this way. So, and I'll put a piece. The paper at the ends is the most important, because that's where you kind of come back across. I hope you can hear what I'm saying. I'm not open. I went over. I'll do is I'll get off here and I'll show you what I'm talking about as far as this little road going down the center of the field. It's really beneficial because you can see that fertilizer right in there, and over the years what I've done, you can see it, maybe you can see, but it starts to thin out right here. Right here is just about the edge of the throw. So if I stand right here, and you can see the tractor over there, if I just keep walking this way, and it's throwing that fertilizer an equal distance, and then I'm getting some overlap. So I just kind of walk down through here and I'm seeing fertilizer. I don't see, I'm not going to walk all the way down through here, but I'm not seeing any gaps between the fertilizer being spread. So that tells me I've got an even spread going across the field. And you know, am I totally straight? Am I overlapping too much some and not enough other times? Yeah, but that kind of goes with the territory. So let me put you on the back of the spreader for a little bit, and then we'll follow up when I get done. I can feel a few more sprinkles, and I just need to focus on getting the fertilizer down. And when I get done, I'll kind of wrap things up. So 1,000 pounds at the rate that I'm putting it down doesn't last long. And I've got over half of this field covered, and really a little more than that because it's longer on this side than it is this side. And so somewhere right up in here, ran out of fertilizer. And when you run out, it's really abrupt. I can see some there, and I'm just kind of looking for it, but there's some. And so probably I ran out probably right in here, not too far from the edge of that lane right there. And so shut everything down and drove back down here. And what I do is I take my hat, an Alice Chandler's hat today, and I just throw it down, and when I come back out, that's where I pick up. And so let me refill, and I'll come back out, but I won't take any more footage of doing the fertilizer. I need to get on with this, and running the camera and trying to beat the rain is slowing me down. So I'll come back. All right, so I got the last bag of fertilizer into the spreader, and what that's done for me is it gets this thing out of the barn. I'm not blocking the entrance to it, and I can back right up to the bag fertilizer next. The rain sprinkles have kind of ended. It was just a few, but it made me really nervous, and so I want to get back out on the field with this, and when I get done, I'll back in the barn. I'll come back. Hopefully the rain will hold off and I can spread that bag fertilizer, but we'll see. So as I mentioned earlier, I dropped my hat where I run out, and this is where I'll start again. So this is where I'll restart and hopefully be able to finish this field. You can see where if I had utilized the full 1-ton bags, I could stay out a whole lot longer, and we'll get there maybe. All right, I got the John Deere backed in here with the fertilizer spreader on it, and I'm gonna let it down here in just a little bit and then start loading out these bags. So I was glad to get the trailer out of this area with the 1-ton bags, and you know, I don't like lifting these 50-pound bags anymore, and I don't like lifting heavy bales of hay, not that mine are really heavy. But one thing is for certain, you got to have a tractor with a loader, and one that'll start and run with no flat tires, in order to handle round bales and big bags of fertilizer. And with 50-pound bags of fertilizer and square bales, it doesn't matter how cold it is. With square bales, you really don't need to start a tractor unless the customer gets himself stuck in the field out there, which has happened before. But and I mean, this tractor, we've had our episodes. We had a relay go bad last summer, but this has really been a trouble-free tractor, this John Deere 5055D, and I can count on that thing running. These other tractors I got around here, I can count on them running, but in the back of your mind, you kind of wonder, what if it breaks? But it is what we got, and I was glad to get that fertilizer off the trailer and get the trailer out of here, so when I have a hay customer, if one ever shows up again, that they can just back in here and we can throw the hay down to them. But I might take this white top off. Since I'm throwing the bags in here, it makes it a little easier for me to not lift them up so high to get them in the spreader, and but it also is easier to see from the driver's seat whether you're running out how you stand with your fertilizer. So I'm thinking about taking that off and giving it a run like that for a little while and see how I like it. So what I'm gonna do next is I mentioned earlier that in the video, I think on day one of this video, I use viscosity fluids wherever I can, and you know, the big colleges and universities, they have the chair for philosophy. This person is the chair. They have the chair for you know, economics. They're the economics chair. They are this chair and that chair. Well, on this farm, what we have, and I really like it, is a viscosity. I call it the viscosity oil chair. The viscosity chair. And I'm gonna sit down here and I'm gonna have a drink and a pack of peanuts, and then I'm gonna get back at it. And while I'm sitting there, I'm gonna ponder my next move. This video's not over. I'll be back. All right, I'm back from my peanut and soda break in the viscosity chair, and I have taken the top off of this spreader, and you can see it's got bolt holes in it right here going around. I never bolted that thing down, and it's got these little bosses on here, but that's what it looks like. I mean, it looks like a little tiny spreader, but it's not. It'll hold, you know, 1,000 pounds, no problem. And but it lowers it down, you know, that much. Well, you can see that much, so I don't know if it's that big a deal when it's sitting down like that, but it sure seems like it's a little nicer to me. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got my chesty mount, and I'm gonna just take a little bit of footage of me dumping fertilizer bags into here, and I got a trash can with a steel sack. Let's see, this is a hefty steel sack, and you know, it doesn't take anything to poke a hole through them. I don't know what steel is not like that, I don't guess. But I got them. I'm going to use them, collect these fertilizer bags, then it'll blow all over creation. So I got a little box cutter here from Harbor Freight. These things, when you use them on fertilizer, you just got to throw them away. They rust like crazy. So anyway, let's see, this is what I want. This is what I want. Not that. I want potash. And if memory serves me right, I don't think I got quite a ton of it. I'd have to look at the receipt, but maybe I did. I know I got a ton of that, but this might have been all they had left. I know one of the two was running short based on how high they're stacked. I guess it's the potash, but so, you know, I'm just kind of lifting waist high with that thing right there going, and manually loading fertilizer like that instead of using the big bags, in some ways kind of takes my mind back to a simpler time, and on this farm, as far as haying goes. And I should probably in some ways go back to I should probably in some ways go back to bag fertilizer. And I talked earlier about you know, you need a tractor and a loader for round bales, and you need a tractor and a loader for you know, big bags of fertilizer. And but I've pondered just getting out of the round bale business altogether. I haven't sold a single round bale this year, and part of it's the quality of my hay, and part of it's the price. And you know, I guess I could lower the price, but what I'm handling right here is not like, you know, super cheap stuff. It's kind of expensive, and so I'm just not going to give away the hay. And sometimes the customers we get, they're repeat customers, and sometimes the customers we get are, you got a better price than the other guy, so I'm shopping on price. I could care less about anything else. And that's what they want on the round bales. They want you to price those things down to like $20 or less a round bale. And people are doing it. $20, $25. You see a 4x4 round bale all the time. And the hay quality's not good. I don't see how it pencils out. You're just mining out your fields of nutrients. So I'm inclined to keep my price up. If it sells, it sells. And if it doesn't sell, I might unroll it back onto the field, at least put back the nutrients that I took off. So the customer, that's the customer that's looking for something based on price. And then it seems like every year, depending on the hay situation, and I think we had a glut of hay around here this past summer. It was hard to get hay in because, well, first of all, we went through a drought, and then we went through all kinds of rain. But I think there was a lot of hay made, and I really don't get into hay shortages and things like that anymore. I used to try to predict the hay situation, and the bottom line is it's just better if I just focus on what I got in my barn as far as inventory goes, and you know, let all the other people worry about what everybody else is doing. And so this third customer that I'm trying to lead up to before I forget, you know, they run out of hay. They buy from this person or that person, or they got a supplier, and they only buy a little bit for whatever reason. Maybe they don't have the barn space, maybe they don't have the money, maybe they just are clueless when I apologize for the racket on the bags, but there's no other way. They're clueless when it comes, in some ways, to the necessity to have hay on hand. I'm listening. Almost sounded like some rain was falling. I'm safe now. If I just leave this in here, it's okay. I'm not too concerned about it. But what happens is they get in a big panic because it's frosted, their paddocks aren't growing, and then they really get in a panic when the snow comes. You get a little skiff of snow. It doesn't even have to cover the ground. It's just got to kind of make it a little bit white. And all of a sudden, my God, I need hay. And they'll come out of the woodwork. And my thing is, and like I said, you go back to my business plan video for 26. Here in my retirement, we're just going to fill up our wagons with square bales, and I may round bale some. I may just continue to clip it with my 12-foot batwing. I'm interested in profit, and that's our pursuit. But at the same time, I didn't plan my retirement thinking, you know, I'll just farm and that'll sustain me, and regardless of what I saved or didn't save. And my view is, you need to plan your retirement based on whether or not you can, you know, get out of a chair from a financial standpoint, because lifting around these bags of fertilizer is nice, and I'm grateful I can do it. But there's going to be a time where this is completely untenable, and that's kind of where the big bags of fertilizer come into play. But I think I only got 1,500 pounds of this, 3/4 of a ton, not a full ton. I think that's what that is. I'd have to look at my receipt again. So I'm going to kind of stop right here. Let me just say one more thing about the customer that waits till the last minute, you know, and then again about us filling their wagons and not cutting any more hay, if you can see that, until it sells. You know, I took vacation. I did whatever I have to do when I worked to get on this farm to make hay. And even in retirement, you know, I'll push things aside, because when the sun shines, I need to be making hay. I need to do what I got to do to make hay. But some of these customers, they could do the same thing. They don't have to drop everything and take a day of vacation to come out and get hay. They can say, next weekend I'm free, I think I'll come get hay. But what they do, they wait 4 months, 5 months, and then next weekend, and then they're shocked that you're out of hay. So let me keep going and I'll come back. All right, so I got 1,000 pounds on here, and you can see that it wasn't bad at all lifting those bags over in here. It's just when you get into ton after ton after ton, and then it takes some time to do this. And but let me run this out and put it down, and if I can, I'll come back for that. And if the rain holds off, I'll come back for that. But I think it's trying to just ever so slightly miss the sprinkle, but I'll do what I can. I'll come back. All right, here's my hat, and but I didn't run out of fertilizer right here. I ran out of fertilizer on back, and I need to look and see where I see the pellets trail off. But before I do, just kind of a look-see at the fertilizer. So now I can just look in this thing, and that's kind of nice. And then from the seat, think this is going to be the last load I put out today. I think the road's just about here. But I can stand up and look down in that fertilizer spreader. From my seat, I can see right into it. So I'm gonna give this a try, since I'm only buying the big bags in 1,000 pounds, and that's what you see right there. See if I can do a better job of centering the bag over the fertilizer. But let me stop right here, put this fertilizer down, find out where I left off, back up that way a little bit. I'll come back here when I'm done. Visibility is definitely better. All right, the rain is trying to pick up, and I went out with just a little bit of a shower here on this, and I don't need to clean this fertilizer spreader out because I'm going to be using it again in a couple of days. I'll let the rain get past us, and then I'll put down the balance of fertilizer I got. And I might go back and get some more potash, and I'm probably going to need some more of this DAP. I'll get that in 1,000-pound bags. So, you know, it would have been nice to have gotten all of it down, and but such is farming. We've had a pretty good day of it, and I'm kind of liking this spreader without that white top over there on it. I think if I had it on my Big Massey or my International, I could see down a whole lot better into it. But certainly, you know, at some point I'd like to have a tractor with a loader that can handle a 2,000-pound bag of fertilizer, and you know, that would make it that would really make it nice here as far as being out on the field. So I mean, I probably could have finished, if I'd have had bags, big bags of fertilizer, I probably could have got all those out on the field. And certainly if I'd have had 2,000-pound bags and had this thing truly rigged to hold a ton of fertilizer, I could have stayed out longer. So, you know, the time I have to spread fertilizer in it now that I'm retired is somewhat unlimited. So if I take smaller bites like I've been doing with the 1,000-pound bags, it's not bad. And this is a Friday, and we're going to have rain later today, and then I think tomorrow, most of the day tomorrow, it's going to be a soaking rain. We're going to get anywhere from, they're calling for anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. So that's a nice big gap. That's a nice big spread to have an accurate forecast. But anyway, I've had a pretty good day up here. Like I said, this is a Friday, and if I would have been working, I'd have had to take vacation to do this. You know, we're pushing it out to a Saturday. So it's really nice here in my retirement that I can I'm physically able to do this kind of work, and it's nice here on a Friday, not trying to talk like a deadbeat, because I am working here, but it's nice that I can time this fertilizer. You know, I've got this spreader, and in many ways, everything I've done on this farm for a number of years has been to get me in a position to be retired and to farm. And you know, I do it to make money. I do it because I enjoy it. Sometimes it's trifling, and sometimes I'm just like gritting my teeth. Some of the frustrations, if you farm, you know what I'm talking about, and especially if you sell hay to the public. You especially know what I'm talking about. And I've got some really good customers, but there's some customers, you know, you could write a book about. And but nonetheless, glad for what I got here on this farm, and we're starting to chip away here in 2026. It's nice to be back on a tractor here in 2026. So looking forward to getting back on it here and putting the balance of the fertilizer I got down, and I'm going to be buying more. And I think this is going to stay on the John Deere until the 1st of March, and that's when I'll put down, I think I'm going to put down some nitrogen a little bit in March. And I really don't want a bumper first crop of hay. I'm really more after second crop. Now, this field right here, my intent is to plant that in Timothy. This really at the end of February, I'd like to put 1st of March into February, I'd like to put Timothy down. I realize that's a big no-no. You know, no, you don't plant Timothy in the spring because it won't survive the summer. But the plan is to plant it and then go back in and replant in the fall. And so I really don't care about the stand life of the Timothy that I'm going to plant here in the spring. But the issue I ran into with teff grass last year was obviously it lodged. It was a total disaster. If I could have got it in, it'd have been a glorious thing. But and then the other thing is, I had some horse customers balk, which surprised me. They they were concerned about taking them off the orchard grass that they had and putting them on teff grass and upsetting their stomach or something like that. But anyway, I'm gonna try to get this easy go into the dry. And long video, but it is what it is. The John Deere 5055D, the backbone of this farm, the Kubota VS 600. It's a VS 1000 with that extension on it. And it's a good day to be out and about. We'll talk to you later.